What's up, nerds? The patch 2.0 Part 2 tier list has updated, so let's go ahead and take a look because we did recently talk about Sparkle's placement, but now the entire tier list has shifted as a result of Sparkle's impact on the game. A lot of changes have been made to the tier list, so let's go ahead and take a look at this. Alright, same deal, different day. Let's go ahead and see who we can piss off today by simply talking about the most well-respected tier list in the Honkai Star Rail community, which is a controversial list, I will admit. I don't agree with everything on this list. Like, every single time that this list gets updated, there's like something that I don't agree with on the list. But I gotta say, this is an update I'm really, really down for. I'm not too upset about this at all. Like, they've done some good things that I'm super duper excited about. There's some changes that have been made like today that I'm absolutely loving. Some things that I think we've been wanting for a long time. For example, the king is back, baby! Dan Heng and Bibiter Lune is on top once again. Now, it's something really quick I need to point out, just so that you guys are aware, because a lot of people, like, still to this day are confused about this. None of these characters are put in a 1, 2, 3, 4 type of situation. These are a tier, and they're done alphabetically. D, J, right? R, S, right? B, S, T. That's how the alphabet works. You know what I mean? So it's not literally like a 1, 2, 3, 4. It's whatever tier they are, that's the tier. They don't necessarily differentiate who's the number 1 DPS in the game. They just put them on the same tier. It is a tier list, not like a rank list, if that makes sense. So let's go ahead and move on from that BS. So we got Dan Heng and Bibiter Lune rising to the top, and we got Jing Yuan, baby, rising up a little bit here. I told you so. I told you so. I put out this video before we got part 2 of patch 2.0, and a lot of people were like, "No, he's always been mid. He's still bad." Yeah, I don't think so. Homeboy, what you gotta say now? What you gotta say now? What you gotta say now, dog? What you gotta say? Sparkle is a super OP character, and that's another I told you so. Who the heck thought that this wasn't gonna be a good character, okay? Listen, I understand. Something else you guys need to know. A lot of the BS I'm saying is just a bunch of jokes, okay? I'm not really this rude in real life. What the hell am I talking about? Yeah, I am. Listen, but it's all jokes, okay? You got to understand. I'm not actively trying to piss anybody off. I'm just messing around, okay? It's not a dick. It's a joke. Take it, okay? So let's talk about some other big changes we got going on here before we start getting into the neatier, grittier stuff. Also, something else I don't agree with. What the hell is young Shing doing here? What's my young king doing all the way down here? This is like a joke, right? This is like, is it April 1st? Is it April 1st yet? Nah, it's still March, bro. What's going on with that? What's he doing down here hanging out with Arlen? Did he forget his passport at home? Did he miss the plane up to like B, C tier where he should be? Why is he down here at D? This makes no sense to me. It's like they actually went in alphabetical order the whole way through rather than just by tier, and his ass is all the way down here at the bottom. I don't know what happened. Maybe he slipped. I get it. I figured it out. He slipped and fell. He was like over here somewhere, and then he slipped in between the cracks, and then he ended up down here somewhere, and he just fell, and he just got up, and that's where he was in the tier list. But anyways, let's talk about something important that I think is really important to talk about. We saw some big changes in the support slot. The amplifier slot is what they call it. Let's be honest, this is the support slot. So we have Asta and Hanya have dropped, and we also have Yukong has dropped. There are 2 main reasons why I think this has happened. One reason is Sparkle. A really, really top tier support has arrived in the game. The more top tiers that arrive in the game, the more characters are going to have to get bumped down as time goes on. That's just the way it goes. And last time I talked about this list, they didn't make some of these big changes that were here. They only added Sparkle and gave her a placement. And I was a little upset. I felt like Pela should be up here at S tier. I really do. I think she deserves it. There are plenty of teams where I'd rather run a Pela than run a Silverwolf. And to be fair, there's plenty of teams that'd rather have a Silverwolf than a Pela. There's not as many, in my opinion, which is one reason why I think Pela deserves to be up here at S tier. It's not that weird, right? There are 4 DPS characters here in S tier. Why can't we have 4 DPS characters here at S tier as well for the support slot. So because if that happened, you could keep Asta and Hanya at A tier, because I do think they have their viability still in the game, and you could keep Yukong up here at B. But I will agree that Asta and Hanya aren't on the same level as Pela. So if you're gonna keep Pela down here, I think that you should bump them down, right? I think if you're gonna put Pela here in A, that you should bump them down. I do think that's fair. I can agree with that, but I would probably rather see Pela up here and then, you know, keep everybody where they basically were. Just bump Pela up. That's what I think should have happened, but I understand why they did this. And that's the other reason I think that they got bumped down. Sparkle has action advance forward, right? And so does Bronya, right? And they both have very, very powerful buffs. The problem with Asta and Hanya is they both give speed buffs, and you can keep a permanent uptime with their ultimate buffs. With both of them at E4 can keep a permanent uptime with their buffs. I've done videos on this and done like presentations and examples of this before. And they also have attack buffs. But the problem is that despite that powerful effect that they can provide, it is not as powerful as the buffs and the action advance forward that Sparkle and Bronya can provide. And the fact that Pela is still technically better, in my opinion, that's why they got the bump down. Or not the bump down. So that's why I see that happening, because, you know, you can advance forward one of your super strong DPS and give them a massive buff. Who cares if their permanent ultimate exists? It just doesn't matter. You just give them the action advance forward and let them literally attack immediately after with a buff. It doesn't matter that it deactivates afterwards. You just reactivate the buff. Like, so I get it. I see why they got bumped down. It makes sense to me. And I gotta talk about poor Yukong here. This messes me up. This messes me up. This keeps me up at night. Okay? Yukong has a difficult kit to use. Okay? You have to speed tune the team properly. You have to keep the SP, like you have to keep the skill points at a certain amount so that she can basically constantly use her buff. And it's really unfortunate because usually with a more complicated character, if you work really hard at making their like synergy work, there usually is a reward for having made the character work well. Like with Dan Heng and Bibiter Lune. Remember, before Sparkle came out, you still were rewarded with a very powerful team by making a strong Dan Heng and Bibiter Lune team work. Speed tune the team, make the SP synergy work really well. You're still rewarded with a very powerful character. Unfortunately, Yukong has a similar situation going on, but you weren't rewarded with a very powerful character. Even at her best, she's still, like, arguably worse than any other option that you could have been using. There are some teams where she would have shined more than others, potentially, but not by that much. It's really, really sad. I think that they messed up. I think they messed her up, man. They should have made her easier to use and maybe kept her down here, or kept her at a difficult character to use, but make her buffs better so that she can, like, you get rewarded for having made her work properly. I know I'm sort of rambling and yapping a lot right now, but that's just how I feel. I think that they totally screwed up making Yukong. That's a Hoyo problem, not a tier list problem, though. We also saw another change. We saw Suong. What the hell did I... Bro, did I just have an aneurysm? Like, what the hell was that? We have Shing bumping down a little bit here. And I'll be honest, I don't use her all that much, but as a breaker, she's pretty damn good. I don't know if I, like, fully agree with it, but when I compare Suong to Welt and Gwenithan, who can debuff and are basically, like, what is it? Like, sub-DPS type of characters. Yeah, I can see why they have more value than Suong. So Sushang. So it reminds me of Asta Hanya getting bumped down because of a character like Pela. And it makes sense. I see why they did it. I'm not sure if I don't know enough about Sushang to be able to, like, make that call to, like, say, like, oh, she should stay up here. please comment down below if you're like a Sushang artist or something. You're a connoisseur of Sushang, and you know more than me, and you feel like maybe she's still good. So I can't really say. I'm gonna be I'm trying to be as transparent as possible with you guys. I don't play her enough to know if she deserves to be bumped down or if she should have stayed up here. So I just wanted to mention those about those characters, and once again, congratulate our man. Our general, Jing Yuan, is mid Yuan no more. Our man has made it. He's done the deed. He got his ass out of A tier finally. Dude, has he been? I'm pretty sure that Jing Yuan has been in A tier since the moment he came out, and he has not moved at all. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think his ass has been in A tier this whole entire time, and he keeps getting better and better. Like every other patch, he gets something that makes him better. Remember when his relic set came out? Why did he stay the same? Why did he stay in the same tier? His relic set came out. Bro, he got so much better when his relic set came out. Like, what the hell is that about? But now he's got a new relic set, you know what I mean? And he has a new, really, really viable support character. He has had, you know, like Ting Yun's always been there, a really good support character for Jing Yuan. But now you have someone like Sparkle, who really takes him to the next level alongside all of the other things that have made him better over time. And you don't really need me to tell you this. I think we all knew that our old king is back. The king has returned. It's Return of the Jedi. Super Saiyan Dan is back. He is a very powerful character, always has been. I've actually kind of thought to myself, he probably still deserved to be an S+ tier during certain patches, during certain Memory of Chaos instances. And I know this is based off of Memory of Chaos, so depending on what is currently active for Memory of Chaos, he should, you know, potentially be S tier or maybe S+. But now that Sparkle is out, it just makes it so much more comfy to run Dan Heng and Bibitur Lune. Plus, he gets the massive buffs from her while she's making the whole entire situation work, while she's literally synergizing his entire team around his SP usage. And she's also buffing the hell out of the guy. You know, he gives himself a bunch of crit damage. She gives him a bunch of crit damage. It's like crit stacked on crit stacked on crit. And that's not even a lie. That's not even a joke. That's just the reality. So I think that's it. I think that's the tier list for now. If you enjoyed this, consider leaving a like and subscribe. And I might see you in the next one if I stop yapping too much. All right. Peace out.